G'day taxpayers. A little bit of mixed news on the economy, retail spending and building approvals on the retail spending side, retail trade. The very last release of retail trade from the Bureau of Statistics. They're moving to the household spending survey, which is much more comprehensive. But that aside, retail sales are still important. For now, there was a bit of a jump of 1.2% in the month of June, which followed several months of weakness. More importantly, of course, we do get with the June numbers, the June quarter volumes of retail spending, only up 0.3% in the quarter. So still pretty sluggish growth in real terms. And as the Bureau of Statistics noted, in real per capita terms, retail spending fell in the June quarter. So on an individual basis, we are still hunkering down. Spending is still lower per capita than it was a year ago. And it's down a staggering 6% from the peak in 2022. So to say that the consumer is recovering is an exaggeration at this stage. Look, there's tentative signs that maybe there's just a turning point coming through. But if there is, it's very tepid. It's very patchy at best. And we need to see not just 1, but 2, 3, 4, 5 months of improving consumer spending to be confident that we're going to get a decent recovery in consumer spending. Now, on the building approvals front, a lovely 12% jump in monthly building approvals, concentrated in multi-units, apartments and those sorts of things. Terrific to see we're above 17,000 dwellings in the month. Annualising that, we're getting close to 200,000. So obviously still a long way from the 240,000 annualised pace we need to get to the 1.2 million that the government's pumping for. But again, after a couple of months of really disappointing building approvals numbers, they're now starting to kick in. My hunch is too that we've got the pro-growth, pro-building policies of the federal and state governments starting to kick in. So I'm not completely gloomy about the outlook for building approvals. In fact, that's my X factor for the next 2 years. We do get a really solid pickup in building construction activity. An interest rate cut would certainly help there too. So all in all, the numbers, they don't add a lot. We know that in real terms, consumer spending is weak. Building approvals, that much needed supply side response to our dwelling shortage is slowly coming through. A long way to go before we actually meet that supply needed to match the demand coming from high immigration, but a tentatively encouraging sign here. But all eyes on, of course, the inflation and the unemployment numbers of recent times. But we'll see what the RBA thinks about all of this.